What is up, guys? We are back with another interview here on the Blue Bloods, and we are going back to South Dakota State, man. Listen, they made a huge run to the national championship last year, and we got the graduate transfer quarterback, former USF quarterback, former Samford quarterback. Chris Oladokun is here with us today from South Dakota State. I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
I appreciate you, Zach. Glad to be on the show with you.
Absolutely, man. So let's get right into it. You were you were dominating in high school football. Let's be honest. I mean, down there in Tampa, that's actually where my mom's from too. So,
I just
you
ate
know,
one for you.
yep,
Yes,
yep.
sir.
So, you were a three-star recruit by, I believe, just about every recruiting service. Looking back, way back, I know you're a graduate transfer
Yeah.
now. Which teams were recruiting you the hardest out of high school?
Well, really, it all started. My first offer was actually Toledo, and Toledo always stayed with me. Even through right through me signing with USF, they always stayed with me. So I'd say Toledo. USF was really hard on me. Obviously being a hometown kid, and I was committed there for 2.5 years, or I think probably 2 years before I even signed. So them, and then there's a lot of schools. Iowa State came on. Once Coach Matt Campbell, he went to Iowa State because he was at Toledo. Nebraska came on hard at the end, and then a lot of MAC schools, a lot of American schools too. So, but really, I'd say USF and Toledo were the hardest on me.
Yeah, man. I like that Matt Campbell. Hey, he has an eye for talent. We see what he's
Yep.
doing over there at Iowa State. So he was on you quick. You commit to USF though, man. You mentioned hometown kid. What factors, though, looking back, played the largest role in your decision to transfer from USF to Stanford?
Really, at the end of the day, it was probably one of the harder decisions I've ever made. In my life. Up to this point, just because I loved being home. I loved playing for USF. I grew up watching them going to games and stuff like that. So it was hard to leave, but I'd say the main decision for me was just a fit, and I just wanted I wanted to be that guy, and Blake, my man Blake Barnett, shout out to him. That's still my guy to this day. We talk from time to time, but he was in. I pretty much went up to Coach Strong after the end of the year, and I was like, I wanted a chance to compete. But they had other plans, and that was fine with me. So that's why I looked elsewhere from that point.
Yeah, and I mean, you wind up at Sanford, man. You win multiple Player of the Weeks in the SoCon. You were so dynamic up there, and Sanford was doing some big things. What kind of play? What were your biggest takeaways from your time at Sanford, and why did you decide to end up transferring from there?
Well, Sanford was a place that I knew. I had prior knew a coach. He was a running backs coach. Was and actually my quarterback coach, CJ Bennett, the stable, actually. So he was my quarterback coach. Like him and his dad, my whole life. So I had a plug in there. It felt comfortable for me. That was my first time living outside of Tampa. So that was important to me. And then Birmingham ended up becoming a city that I grew to love. Some of my best friends now still go to Sanford. My little brother goes to Sanford now, and so it was good while I was there. Ran his toll while I was there, and just at the end of the day, I felt like I had to make the best decision for me, especially going into my last season. You don't want to be going back and forth throughout a whole season when you only have 6 months to let everyone know what you can really do. So that was the main decision there. There's no bad blood. And Coach Hatcher and everyone at Sanford. I I announced I was transferring when we still had like 3 games left. So they all took it pretty well, and that just made the best decision for me.
Yeah, man. And so, then, after your transfer from Sanford, you also, committed at first to Florida A&M. So, why did you decide to commit to there at first, and then why did you decide to end up decommitting and go into South Dakota State?
Well, really, going to FAMU, I had already had a relationship with Coach Simmons there. From my prior time when I was leaving USF. So it was comfortable, and for me at the time, it was really getting back home and getting back to Florida sounded pretty good to me. Being close to my family, and them being able to come, to almost all the games, because almost all FAMU's games are in Florida. So that was something that I looked at and I felt good about, and the QB situation was good over there, and so I stuck with them. And then, literally, after the national championship game, I got a call maybe a week or so later from South Dakota State, and I was actually working out with my quarterback coach at the time. He's like, "Listen," he's like, "I think this is a good opportunity that's about to come up. Someone's going to call you, and just let me know what you think." And, I was watching them play in the national championship game. A week before that. So it was crazy to me, like, wow, these guys see something in me that I've always believed and saw in myself too. So that's sort of why I switched. With we have our whole team coming back. Trust me, it's hard to get a Florida kid to go to move and pack up and go to South Dakota, for sure. But it's been great since I've been there, and that was sort of why I decommitted from FAMU.
Absolutely, man. So that kind of gets into my next question, man. Do you feel any pressure coming in as, the projected QB1 to take over this program that just made a deep run to the national championship? Do you feel any pressure to get them back to the national championship and finish the deal this time?
No, I'd say I don't feel any pressure just because, me being there these past 2 months, there's been no pressure at all from any of the guys, any of the coaches on the team. I've gone in there and I've simply just been myself. That's all I'm going to give them. And, everything's going to be earned. I want everything earned, whether it's me being the starter, me being a leader. I want it all earned. And that all comes in the work that I put in the off season with the guys. That's why I went up so early when I did, just because I wanted to get in front of them and let them know, what I'm about, and also figure them out and learn my teammates and learn my coaches as well. So I wouldn't say I feel any added pressure at all. If I step in there and do my job, I feel like we have the best offensive line in the country. I feel like we got some of the best skill players in the country, and get those guys the ball, and I think we can be a really dynamic offense.
Absolutely. And the defense is on point too, man. You guys got the whole deal. All the preseason media polls have y'all 1 or 2 based on anything I've read. So it's a big season. But I want to get to you as a player, man. We've went through your whole journey. This is the final stop, man. Graduate transfer. Looking back, man, how has your game evolved since you stepped on foot at USF as a true freshman to now as a graduate transfer for South Dakota State?
I'd say the biggest thing, these past 6 years would be just the mental part of the game. You get in there, you're the man in high school. Everything's easier for you. The game's slower, and you get like I got to USF. Game's a lot faster. You're sort of, as a freshman, you're still sort of figuring things out, and you're just playing as fast as you can. You're not really taking in that mental side, and there's a lot of hours that I put in now that I feel like I was putting in hours back then, studying the playbook and watching film and stuff like that. But now that I'm older, I wasn't even putting nowhere near the time that I should have, just because some of that stuff takes a little bit of growth and maturity, and just knowing you're if you want to be a professional, you got to act like a professional when you're in college. So I'd say that's the biggest thing, just the mental side of the game, and just understanding now that when to get rid of the ball, when to take those chances, and when to use my legs, when to not, and check downs are never a bad thing too. Early in my career, I was going deep, and that's sort of what I love doing. I still love to throw the ball deep, but I think now that part of my game's definitely evolved.
And hey, like you said, the more experience you get, the better. I know South Dakota State's excited for what you're bringing to the offense. Taking a step back and critically evaluating your game. What is your biggest strength right now as a quarterback?
I mean, I'd have to say extending the play. I think a lot of people would say, and a lot of teammates I've played with, especially at Samford, the play's never over with me. It could be a busted play, and I'm going to extend the play, get outside the pocket, and look for someone down the field and hit them down the field, and create explosive plays. Which usually the team that wins in a game has the most explosive plays. So I definitely say extending the play, getting out there, using my legs, and not getting outside just to run, but to be a threat on throwing on the run as well. So that's definitely something that I take a lot of pride in, and something I work on a lot, during the off season. So it's sort of harder in the team settings in the off season when you're sort of there's no pads and everything. But it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to showing my new teammates and coaches.
Yeah, and I mean, on the flip side, man, you don't I always get kind of like sometimes weird looks. One player even told me, I can't tell you too much.
I already know what you're about to say.
Like, what's
Yeah.
one thing you feel like you need to improve on?
Well, there's a lot. I could list every aspect of quarterback play that I need to improve on. But if I had to pinpoint one thing, specifically right now is just getting the footwork down. Just because I've been three different places. I've had, I want to say, six different offensive coordinators, and I've been taught differently by almost every single one of them. So you sort of get in one way of style of what you've been taught for 2 years, and then you switch to a different style, and you sort of just gotta get used to it a little bit and fine tune some things. So right now I'd just say getting my footwork down that I'm using right now at South Dakota State, and just adapting. And it's stuff I've never done before, but it's stuff I also haven't done since probably my freshman year, even going back to high school, just because of the type of offense I played in at Stanford. So I definitely say right now, because your feet, that makes your throw, that makes you an accurate quarterback, and all those good things. So definitely a big point of emphasis right now is just my feet.
I like how you can step back and just be like, listen, it's not all great. Like I have like one or two things, even as a graduate transfer, like I
Uh,
can improve on.
uh,
So I definitely like that, man. But you mentioned your film study as one of the biggest thing that's changed since freshman year to now. Give us a little bit of insight on that. What are the biggest things you look for when you turn on the film? What are like the first two or three things that you look for when watching film of a defense?
Well, I'd say just first of all, I want to see how every single player plays. I want to see how quick a corner is. Is he fast? Is he long? Does he play a lot of man? Do he play a lot of zone? I want to look at the D line. Is he an edge rusher? Is he going to bully you? How does he move when you get outside the pocket? Is he going to chase? Is he going to give up on a play? Linebackers, how is he reading my eyes? Where is he dropping to? Can he move? Can he cover? Things like that. So I really like to see their attributes first and sort of study those. And then once I break down, what type of player they are, in my eyes, in my opinion, then that's when I move on to, the X's and O's and what the defense is trying to do. Do they play a lot of cover four? Do they play a lot of man? What do they like to do on third down? What do they like to do third and short? What type of blitzes and stuff they bring like that? So I think, going through those things in my mind, is something that I personally learned from Quentin Flowers back when I was at USF, because that's my guy right there, and he used to just talk about some of those little things with me, and just how that helps him on the field. And Quentin wasn't a guy where people were like, oh, he's the smartest quarterback in the country, even though he was the most athletic, at least in my opinion. But he knew a lot. He knew a lot more than people ever gave him credit for, because I was in those film rooms with him. And, that's how I learned. So definitely, I'd say that.
Listen, I'm going to say right here, I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in like recent memory. I mean that like any
100%. It's not even.
he
It's
was a
not even a.
baller.
It's not even a debate. And the thing is, like, you hear people say, like, "Oh, well, you don't see Patrick Mahomes practice every day, or you don't see Lamar Jackson in practice every day." People didn't see Quentin Flowers in practice every single day. Like, try going up running the second team offense, and Quentin just scored on 6 of 6 plays, and half of them he did it by himself. And then you're the second string quarterback, and you're trying to do what he's doing. Man, he did things in practice that I wish people could have actually seen, because what he did on Saturdays was just a small thing of what he really was.
Oh man, absolutely. I was a huge fan of him. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the
Same
entire
here.
country.
He's one of the greatest teammates I've ever had too, like without a doubt. He really took me under his wing. Through the ups and the downs. Even when he left USF, I'd still talk to him to this day. He still calls me, and he's still trying to find his way in some leagues and stuff like that. And I think he'll land on his feet. But he tells me, man, every day just keep going. So he's probably being in college, he's been definitely one of my role models for sure.
Hey, shout out to that. I love to hear that you guys are still in touch and that everything's still rolling in terms of that, especially even though it was so long ago that you were at USF now. So that's awesome. But I want to shift gears to South Dakota State, man. Listen, you might have just transferred in, but being the quarterback, being a senior, you're a team leader. So I know I can get it directly from you. What are the team goals for South Dakota State in 2021?
Well, I think it's when you look in terms of the whole season, it's easy to say national championship. It's the easy answer to say, especially them just being there, and stuff like that. A lot of high expectations. The easy answer is national championship, but in my mind, it's the climb every single day, every single game. I think we just got to take it one game at a time. You start talking about, stuff down the line. You never know what can happen this season, especially we're still in COVID times right now, and with the whole vaccine and non-vaccine and people doing all this stuff, you never really know. So I think if we control what we can control, and do our part and not worry about things that are in December or January, and we just focus on us and focus on right now. Our focus should be on Colorado State and focused on fall camp and just getting better. So I think throughout the fall camp too, we'll sort of set those goals, as a team, and sit down and really talk through those and say, listen, guys, like, these are our goals, and this is what we're going to do this year, and let's stick to them. So.
Oh man, yeah, I know national championships always on the plate, like you said, especially when you were like one play away from winning a national championship. But on the other side, man, this is your last ride with South Dakota State, last ride for your career. What are your personal goals that you want to check off at the end of the season and says, like that's a wrap? I've achieved what I wanted to achieve.
Winning, first and foremost. When you're the quarterback, that's what you get judged off of. It's wins and losses, and I don't know what people's I don't know what they think of me. To be honest, I don't really care. I sort of put my head down, go to work, and I have the utmost belief in myself. But winning, nothing sweeter. Especially I hear all the chatter. I see some of the things people post online. When they don't consider me as one of the top quarterbacks in FCS, that's a big motivating factor for me, just because I know what I can do, and I've shown what I can do, especially at times. And I think looking at myself, just me this year is just be the most consistent quarterback in the country. Lead our offense. Don't put us in situations to lose. You never, especially as a quarterback, you never want to be the reason you lose a game. So definitely wins, and then I don't really think about all the accolades, because when you win and you play good, efficient football and good, consistent football, those accolades will come. So I put winning before everything. So that'd be my personal goal. And obviously the accolades after that, they come or they don't. But if I'm a good teammate every single day, if I'm a good leader every single day, and we're winning games, that's good with me.
Man, I love to hear it, man. You're just like, listen, we're just gonna win on Saturdays, and then whatever comes after that,
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
We let the people talk. There's always going to be chatter. Especially that's another thing I've definitely learned throughout my career. When you're young, you sort of get caught up in what the media says. And I'm a sports broadcast major, so I know I know the questions usually that are coming, and I know what people are saying, and people are doing their jobs and stuff like that. But there's definitely a fire inside of me that I take names in my head, and I'm like, all right, let's check them off one by one. And so that's it.
I need to see a Chris Oladokun like Tom Brady video where you just have clips like playing in the background after y'all win it all this year of everything they said.
Yeah, if we get to that point, I'll definitely cook something up for sure.
Hey, man, we'll share it all. That'd be amazing. But let's see. I know you're the senior leader, and I know the answer you're going to give me. But just put a but behind it, and then give me the real answer. Which game on the 2021 schedule are you looking forward to playing in the most?
Man, it's different for me just because I've never been in this conference. So I'd have to say North Dakota State, just because there's a lot of kids from Tampa there. So I always like seeing kids from Tampa and competing against them, especially kids I grew up playing with or against. So I think that's always pretty cool. And then rivalry games, those are the best games. Bring out the best in everyone, and they're a great team. They're well coached, and I think it's definitely gonna be a game. Hopefully, we both have great seasons, and we both end that game, undefeated. That'd be pretty cool to see, and just to get that game even more juice. But rivalry games, they always mean more. So if I had to pinpoint one, I'd probably say that one. But also Colorado State too, just because my guy Scott Patchen's there. He's another Tampa kid, and he's actually older than me, so he's like the real OG of college football right now. So that'll be another cool game versus an FBS opponent, and that'll be a a good scale to see where we are as a team and heading in for the rest of the season. So.
Man, I like how you said, I'm new, so I don't have any rivals. Logan came on here and said everybody's his rival. He was like pinpointing 3 years ago who beat them, and he was like, we're coming for him this year. So I like how I had to get the newcomer's perspective. And I got to ask, is there like a small bit of you in the back of your head that's hoping you guys get to see Samford in the playoffs?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I said, today's my little brother's birthday, and I talk to him. I always talk to him every single day, and he's at Stanford. And I'm still really close with a lot of those guys there, and we talk like literally. When I got there, the first conversation I had with my guy Liam Welch was like, "See you in the playoffs." Like that's all we talk about when I'm with them. They're like, "We're gonna see you guys in the playoffs." So of course I'd love to see them in the playoffs, and I'm not like a Samford Bulldog hater now. Like I still love those guys and hope they have a good season. And obviously I'll be watching because my little brother's on the team, and I have a lot of close relationships on that team too. So, that's definitely something I'd be looking forward to.
Oh, that game would have so many storylines. I mean, the matchup between you and someone like Chris Edmonds, we had him on the show too. I mean, he's a dog.
Chris Edmonds is unreal. And the thing is, so when I was at Samford, he was always making plays. And this was before he started. He was like a third string. And I was always like, man, who is this dude? Like, he's a baller. And so the whole season played out his true freshman year, and I didn't know he was a walk-on. I didn't find out till like the 10th game. They're like, yeah, he's a walk-on. I'm like, bro, no, he's not. He's been playing all year as a freshman. They're like, no, he is a walk-on. And I was like, nah, that's got to change quick. And I think everyone sort of knew he would sort of be like that. And I think he's one of the best, all-around defensive players in the country. He's a stud.
Oh man, yeah, he's a dog. We had fun talking with him. But man, these last few questions are for people to get to know you better. They're real easy. Some of them are real easy, but they're a little bit more lighthearted. So first, which NFL quarterback do you model your game after the most?
Oof. It's hard to say Patrick Mahomes just because he's just he's something the game's never seen. But I'd say him. I'd say Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson just because how well they extend plays outside the pocket. The play's never over with them. And, but at the same time, they're not necessarily running quarterbacks. It's something that, I think I run the ball pretty well, but I never want to be labeled as a running quarterback. You know what I mean? And I think those guys got enough, or they do have the respect around the league that they'll hurt you inside the pocket, but also, when that pocket breaks down, you got to account for them or they're going to burn you. That's sort of how my style play is, and that's sort of how I think. So definitely those if I'm watching highlights on YouTube, I'm probably watching Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson.
I like you, Matt. We got to get the trend going. There's a difference between a running quarterback and a mobile quarterback. Like, I feel like people just group it all together, and it's like totally different things.
This podcast would be about 2 hours if I had time to bring out all my facts. I wrote a paper at USF about, the difference between what a running quarterback and a mobile quarterback is in, race in America. I wrote, a 25-page paper about this. So I have a lot of opinions about it. But, I think it's definitely – you see where the league's going now. You got Kyler and all these different guys that, half the quarterbacks in the league now, we're in a league where if you can't move, you're sort of sitting duck back there, especially with how good these defensive linemen are and these linebackers. You have DNs running 4.4s and linebackers running 4.3s. You gotta, only the real elite guys like Tampa Bay over here, my boy Tom, only those elite, GOAT type guys are still in the league right now. But you sort of see the league trending towards more mobile quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah. I don't think people give the Aaron Rodgers and the Tom Brady's enough credit for how well they move in the pocket.
Exactly.
A whole nother debate. But we'll have you back on because actually we'll have a whole special episode, mobile versus running quarterback.
I'm all in on that. I have to pull my papers out and everything because I got a lot to say about that.
This is the platform, but we'll make it a live stream. We'll do a whole rollout for it. But,
Perfect.
the season's upcoming, man. And I know a lot of people ask about this because a lot of people are superstitious. I'm very superstitious. If I'm an Auburn grad and if someone comes over to watch the game that hasn't been and Auburn loses, you're not invited to
Yeah.
watch the game at my house anymore. But are you superstitious? And what is your pregame routine? And what in that routine do you have to do every game day?
I wouldn't say I'm superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. And if you watch The Office, you know Michael Scott that he lives by that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I have my sort of my routine, I guess, in a way. I think I always have to have gum in my mouth. I think that sort of just like calms my nerves, gives me something to do. And then I listen to a lot of music, and I listen to everything. I could be listening to a future hype song 1 second, then listening to like a sad Drake song, like, and it sort of just eases my mind hearing all these different type of genres of music, and sort of keeps me even keel because never want to be too high, never want to be too low, and sort of just a happy medium. But I wouldn't say I like lay my uniform out like Dion or like I have to eat Skittles on the sideline or anything like that. I don't. I mean, I always have to have water on me. I always have a water jug on me. But besides that, I mean, I don't really have much of a pregame routine. Sort of just go how the day's going.
Man, I like how you were mentioning that you listen to like slow songs too. Because when I played in high school, I had the same way. Like if I just listen to straight hype music, I'd just be way too amped for the game. I got to
Yeah.
get like some slow jams in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. I mean, it just gets too much, and then I'm like over here, like you see all like the crazy linebackers listening to like heavy metal rock, and they're like banging their head on like the lockers and stuff. Nah, I'm pretty on game day. I'm pretty chill. I don't really talk much. I'm sort of just in my own zone, doing my own thing.
Oh man, I like to hear that. So what is your favorite route to throw? If you had like one route to like save the world, what are you throwing?
Oh, I'm throwing a go ball. We're going
Oh,
deep. We're going deep. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just something I always, since I was a little kid, you always want to throw the ball deep because it looks the best and looks the prettiest, and I think that's something over the past couple of years that I've sort of really gotten good at and sort of know how to throw it super efficiently. You see Russell Wilson throw the deep ball really efficient. That's how I want to throw that deep ball. But if I had to say anything other than a go, I'd probably say corner. Love throwing corners
oh,
too. Love throwing.
oh man, I like it. I like it. And so thinking back, man, you've played at all these different schools, played at different conferences, everything like that. Who's the best D lineman / defensive back you've ever had to face?
Oof. Well, I'll give you like a two-part answer. Well, my freshman year, we played Florida State at USF, and that's when they had like Derwin, they had
Oh,
all those boys, and Derwin. I still say to this day, Derwin is the best player. Derwin and Dalvin Cook are the best players I've ever seen, like with my own two eyes in person. So I'd say them, and then D lineman. It was when I was at Stanford, we played Derek Brown,
oh
and
yeah.
Derek Brown was a beast, and he like knew what plays we were running. Like he was calling them out. Like I ran like a quarterback counter, and like before the play even started, he was like, "Don't run that quarterback counter." And in my head, I'm like, "Well, it's coming." So he was definitely the best. And then my trying to think, when I played versus UCF my last year at USF, they had a lot of really good DBs, and I think two or three of them, if not all four, were drafted at some point over the next 2 years. So those are probably the best overall.
Oh man, yeah. Derek Brown's built different. That
They had
dude was an
they had,
animal
they
at
had Derek
Auburn.
Brown and they had Big Cat. I don't even
Oh yeah,
I don't even know his real name, but I just know everyone was calling him Big Cat, and he lived up to the nickname wherever he came from. He was a beast too.
yeah. He goes by. It's blanking on it now because now he's down at UCF. He
Yep.
just transferred.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, he's crazy. But this is going to be a tough one. I always try to do different ones for different positions. What's more important for a quarterback, arm strength or accuracy?
Accuracy every single day of the week. I mean, arm strength is just that helps. That you can make those sort of off-platform throws, and you can be a little late sometimes, and your arm will make up for it. But if you're not accurate, you can throw the ball 100 yards, but you don't know where it's going. So definitely accuracy. That's something that every single day I'm trying to fine tune when I'm working. Just making sure I put the ball in the right shoulder. Giving my receivers the chance to create some yak and turn the ball and get the ball up the field. So if you're not accurate, I mean you're not really gonna make it. Not gonna make it long. Just my
Oh,
opinion.
man. I got to change that one up. We've had 3 quarterbacks on, and it's been accuracy just
Yeah.
immediately on
If
that. So
anyone says arm strength, I'd love to see if they're accurate or not.
you said I need to see the stats. Pull
Yeah, I
pull
was
the
about to say I need
sheets.
to see something because I mean it's definitely great to have. Don't get me wrong, but accuracy you can you can get away with a weaker arm and be accurate for sure.
Absolutely. And so, man, all the accolades, all the praise, everything you guys get, man, what keeps you motivated year in and year out?
For me, just personally, I just my journey that I've been through. I feel like there's a lot of people that have sort of looked over me or haven't really believed in me the way I do, and I keep like I said, I like sort of have like a journal on my phone that I type in sometimes, just random thoughts, or if I hear something in a song, I'll like jot it down or something like that. But that motivation is always in the back of my head. Like when I'm working out, like I think about those days at USF. I think about Samford. I think about even my days in high school when I thought I should have been higher rated or better than a guy that was a top guy at the time, or anything like that. Like I think about all those things. There's never a day I wake up and it's just like, oh, everything's peachy, everything's good. Like this is a perfect life I live. Like no, I've been through I've been through the mud, and so you know I look back now, and I used to like call my parents and call my mom and my dad and all my siblings, be like, why me? Like why am I being put through all this? But now that I'm here in the position I'm in, there's no I wouldn't have it any different. Everything that I've gone through sort of built me to the type of person and the player I am now, and I've had to go through a lot. But and people are probably wondering back at home right now, like why is he still playing? Why does he keep going? It's like when you have as much belief in yourself as I do, and you have the motivation that I do to keep going, and to prove, not even prove people wrong, but prove yourself right. I think that's what keeps me motivated.
Oh, man, I like it. I like to hear that internal motivations there because that's like the hardest thing to like grasp and harness is that internal motivation. But
Cheers.
this is the last ride here at South Dakota State, man. The next steps to NFL. If an NFL scout, owner, anyone like that stops and asks you what they will get if they draft you next April, what do you tell them?
Sorry. Hey, come here. Sorry, it's my dog.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Ask that again. What NFL's franchise get out of me?
Yep.
I would I'll definitely say one of the hardest workers on the team, day in and day out. You know what you're gonna get out of me from a work ethic standpoint. I'm always gonna be a leader, always gonna be in the front. Rallying the troops around me, and also I think if you this is my third school, and I know a lot of times people think well, he probably has character issues. He probably has issues with the coaches or with his teammates or anything like that. And every situation I've been in, it's never been that case. It's always been sort of a personal decision from that standpoint. And if I would tell them straight up. I'm probably I'd be one of the greatest teammates on the team. Anything for the team is sort of what I do, and I firmly believe in. So they get someone that's going to come in and work and earn everything he gets.
Uh, Man, I like to hear it, man. I'm expecting your name to be called next April, man. I'll see you at some of these all-star games and camps and everything they have. But we appreciate you coming on here, man, to kind of cap off our doubleheader for South Dakota State. So, guys, make sure to go check out our Logan Bacchus interview that dropped yesterday, and then check out this one today. But, guys, so where can people find you, man? Like where social media, any NIL things, like shout outs. This is your time to just kind of speak whatever you want to speak into existence, man.
Well, on Instagram and Twitter, you can just type in my name, Chris Oladokun. You can find me on both the gram and on Twitter that way. Pretty easy. I'm not on private or anything. Not really a private guy. What you see is what you're gonna get. Then from NLI standpoint, it's a weird thing, but actually just partnered with the Transfer Zone. It's actually one of my quarterback coaches. He's the CMO of the company. Just partnered up with them. It's a great opportunity. You get in with the Transfer Zone. So pretty much what it is, if you're a transfer at any level, any sport, D1, D2, NAIA, JUCO, it could be football, volleyball, golf, soccer, whatever. You get linked in with the Transfer Zone, create a profile, and we pretty much have a whole database full of every single coach for any sport, and we have their emails so they can reach out to you and you reach out to them, and you make this profile where we can send it out to coaches and just make it an easier process for kids transferring, because as the transfer portal, it's crazy, and kids get stuck in there for months and months at a time with nowhere to go, and they don't really know where to get the help. And I've been fortunate. I've transferred twice, and like I said, CJ Bennett, he's been one of the main people that have helped me get to the places I've gone. So having him and having the other guys on board and having that access is something really important. So where I come in, I'm an ambassador, and I have a lot of experience with the transfer portal. So I pretty much answer any questions any student athlete has about the transfer portal, or even if they just want to talk, if on deciding schools or what to look for in a school. That's where I come in and you sort of help and guide them through that process. So it's a partnership I'm really excited about. You know, Also like the Barstool athlete thing, like I know they're gonna send us merch and stuff like that, and we'll see where that goes, because I know there's a lot going on with that. But definitely, the transfer zone is something that I'm gonna be able to impact kids' lives, and we as a whole are gonna be able to impact kids' lives. So it's pretty cool.
Man, that's such a cool thing. The transfers would actually reached out to us. We're supposed to have an interview with them on the show. Like, come on and kind of talk about the NCAA transfer portal, what they're doing. So
Yeah,
that's awesome. We
definitely
had you on
should.
here, man.
Definitely should. It's definitely something that I think is gonna make the portal better for kids, because people really do get stuck in there, and you can find them on Instagram at the Transfer Zone ZN, Transfer ZN, and just or just hit me up about it, and I'll be more than welcome to help out too.
Oh man, absolutely. I love what they're doing over there, man. So I'm glad that you're partnering with them to make a big impact on that, because I feel like the more education we can give to players entering the transfer portal, like you said, the better outcomes that we can have. So shout out to you for that, man. That's awesome. Guys, please go make sure to follow Chris on Instagram, Twitter, anything like that. The bigger we can get the social media, the better deals and opportunities Chris himself could have. So we're all about promoting the play here. So make sure to go follow everything he does, man. Make sure to tune in to South Dakota State football. They're making a big run this year. So make sure to tune in and check out some games. And guys, y'all know where to find the Blue Bloods, man. YouTube. So make sure to subscribe now in any and all podcast streaming platforms. But for Chris, myself, and the Blue Bloods guys, we are out.
Appreciate you.